The next day I was back on the beach with a fruit stall. The regulations did not cover fruit. Business and making money are not so much about what happens to you, all the rules that are out there, but your attitude, perseverance, and desire to succeed. My parents came through the tail end of the Depression. Their reality was that to succeed in life, you had to study hard, because by studying hard you can go to college, and at college you can get a degree, and with a degree you can get a good job, and with a good job you can build a career, and with a good career you can have all the financial security that you could ever hope for. So it was without much thinking at all that I went to college. I had a bit of trouble deciding what to do, however. Law appealed to me, but then you would be restricted to practicing in the country where you qualify, and having travel imprinted in my DNA, I didn't want to restrict myself. I couldn't stand the sight of blood, so medicine was out. In this manner, I slowly eliminated all professions, except for engineering. So off I went to engineering school. It was during my first year studying for a bachelor's in engineering that it dawned on me that engineers were not uniformly rich. In fact, many of them seemed quite the opposite. So I took it upon myself to make a study of the rich, to try to figure out what it was that they had in common. The study lasted more than 7 months. I read biographies, autobiographies, the relevant parts of encyclopedias, books, and magazines about the rich, and interviewed as many wealthy people as I could. What I found astounded me. The rich only had 2 things in common. Almost without exception, they had integrity. Their word was their honor. If they said something, you could count on it. That's not to say that if you don't have integrity, you cannot get rich. But I believe that if you don't have integrity and get rich, your lack of integrity will also be part of your subsequent and almost inevitable demise. The second feature that the rich uniformly had in common is that almost without exception, the rich either made their wealth or kept their wealth in real estate. Upon that realization, I decided to get into property. Things were not always easy. When I was 17, I looked about 12. I'm sure the first bank manager I visited to seek a mortgage thought it was a prank, but I persevered. Meanwhile, 4 years later, I got my bachelor's degree with honors. And then they said to me, 4 years for a bachelor's degree, but only 1 more for a master's. How about it? So I started a master's program. And halfway through, they told me that I was doing so well that I could switch my registration from a master's to a PhD. I wondered why not, couldn't think of an answer, and carried on. One day, I finally had my doctorate in hand. I was offered a job at $32,000 a year, which at the time was a handsome salary. Unfortunately for my prospective employer, the week before I had just completed a real estate deal worth $35,000. I remember thinking to myself, why would anyone in his or her right mind agree to work for 40 hours a week for 50 weeks of the year, turning up every morning at 8 a.m. and saying, "Hello, boss, here I am again. What would you like me to do today?" for $32,000, when in 1 week you can do a deal worth $35,000 and take the rest of the year off? My parents, no doubt proud of my academic achievements, were, I am sure, waiting for me to announce my acceptance of a job offer. But the announcement never came. I got more into property. I was involved in various business ventures. Slowly, I focused more and more on real estate. Over the years, as my property activities became more visible, I was asked to share what I do and how I do it. Articles followed, then books, and a weekly 2-hour radio show on property. I've lectured on real estate in over 15 countries, have made software available to analyze and manage property, and appeared on television debates on the merits of real estate. Today there are many books on real estate. Almost all are correct in what they teach. In Real Estate Riches, I do not want to present yet another version of the mechanics of property investment. Rather, I want to do 2 things. First, I want to share why I think property is so astoundingly simple and lucrative. I want to show property from a new perspective, so that whether you are new to the game or a seasoned investor, you will be forced to rethink how you feel about real estate. And second, I want to give you an insider's view of my approach, my attitudes, my techniques, and my secrets. If there is something here that inspires you to find a great deal, I will be happy. Conversely, I will not mind if you decide not to get into property, but I could not forgive myself if in 10 years you said to me, I would have gotten into property, only no one ever told me it was this good. Successful investing.